This video is sponsored by Wildlife Command Center Coffee. More about them at the end of the video. Hey everybody, it's me, John Ward, and I am back with another Dark Park Film Reviews. And these next three videos are going to be a little different than what I normally do. They're actually going to be deconstructing videos. And I chose three films that I really like, that apparently a lot of people don't. They were all theatrical. They all made money, at the box office, but just nobody seems to like that. They just get a lot of flack. They are the three sequel reboots, and I kind of just wanted to take a deep dive, or like I said, just kind of a deconstruction of each film, and kind of just look at it, and tell you what I liked, what I didn't like. And but overall, I own these three films. I own them on Blu-ray, and I just don't think that they deserve, I don't know, the bad rap that they've gotten. So I'm going to show you the three films, but in each video, we're going to talk about only one video each. So the first one is Blair Witch from 2016. Then the next video will be The Grudge 2020. And then the third video is going to be Rings from 2014. And I like all three of these films. I don't know why. Let's see, get Blair Witch's name out there a little bit. Where is it? Oh, it's way down the bottom. There we go. Why these films get so much flack. I think they're pretty solid, and I think that the filmmakers did a good job for doing a sequel and a reboot at the same time. So I'm going to be looking off a few different sources. I'm going to be, going off of notes that I've made. I'm going to be going off of Wikipedia, off of my laptop. And then I also have information that I'm going to be looking at on my phone. So I'll be looking kind of in all different directions. But like I said, I own all three of these on Blu-ray. And the first one that we will look at is Blair Witch. And this is a great Blu-ray. It's only on Blu-ray, over 3 hours of bonus content. It's the Blu-ray DVD digital HD set. And I like that it has its slip jacket. That was very big. I'm very big on slip jackets. The film runs 89 minutes, 90 minutes. And it's got some really good same thing as. So this is the back, and we got its side, and it's got some really good special features on it. So it has audio commentary with director Adam Weingard and writer Simon Barrett. It also has Never Ending Night, The Making of Blair Witch, 6-part documentary, which is roughly 2 hours. And then House of Horrors, Exploring the Set. So this is 15 minutes, and they go to 3 different sets. Because I believe in the audio commentary, they say that they filmed at an abandoned school. So they're probably using like their gymnasium, the same type of thing that Evil Dead 2 did. And they've constructed these giant sets. I am a fan of Adam Weingard. He has done many film. Well, let's take a look inside actually before we get forward. So here's the little thing for the digital, and then we get the deep. This I'm not a big fan of. The discs are exactly the same. So I've had to put, since I'll never watch it on DVD, I've put the Blu-ray run here, and I just don't play this one. But they don't make it easy to identify. I mean, it's really tiny. I mean, oh, actually, I got this backwards. So DVD is here, and Blu-ray is here. So when I open it, yeah, so I'm looking at it like that. But look how small that writing is. It's so tiny for the, so you know which each one is. And if you wear glasses, it's like, fuck, which one is which? I want the best quality. So so I just keep this over here on the DVD side. So that way I always know this is the Blu-ray. So Adam Weingard, actually, I'll just go through right here. I already got him up. So let's see. So he has directed such films as, he's done, a bunch of stuff. He did one of the short stories in the ABCs of Death. He made the film A Horrible Way to Die. He has a short film on VHS 2. He also did Death Note, which I've never seen, but people said it wasn't very good compared to its original source. But he did do The Guest, which is awesome. You're Next, which is awesome. And talk about a guy rising up from doing short films, being on like VHS and VHS 2. He's also done he's also done. He also did Godzilla vs. Kong. That's quite a huge, leap. So it's, that's a pretty big achievement, going from Blair Witch, which gets crapped on all the time, to directing, Godzilla vs. Kong. I am a fan of the Blair Witch movies. I do own Blair Witch, and I also own Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. And all of these have really good, I'm not going to really get into these, but I thought I'd just mention them. So this is, the Blair Witch DVD. Here's the back. And its special features are newly discovered footage, director and producer commentary. It's got the 4.3 full screen version, the 2.0 Dolby Surround, animated interactive menus, scene access, production notes, cast and crew information, theatrical teaser and trailers. Oh, it's got the documentary Curse of the Blair Witch, which I'll talk about, mythology, and then DVD-ROM features exclusive website access. You get a map, in excerpts from the dossier, and excerpts from the comic book. So here's the inside of that. And it looks like there's, let's see. Oh, there's a lot of stuff. Okay. So it's got this insert. And inside here's some information. And then the back has all the chapters. It also has Blair Witch merchandise. Oh, and then this is just the artisan catalog for their movies. Yeah, all their movies. No reason to really open that. How dare they sell merchandise for missing filmmakers? Disgraceful. So I saw this film probably about 5 times in the theater, bunch of times on DVD. I love Blair Witch. It's definitely a game changer as far as filmmaking goes. I'm a huge found footage fan. So I really, really like this movie. I also, the directors, like the writers, editors, and directors, Daniel Myrick and Geraldo Sanchez. They've gone on to do many other things. I own Geraldo Sanchez's, one of his other films on this collection here. He did a film called Altered that I liked a lot. This is actually a good collection to get if you like collecting movies as a collection like this. So this is definitely worth picking up. And then for Blair Witch 2, and then here's the back, and there's the side. And this has on it, it says DVD plus CD, includes DVD playable full-length feature on one side and CD playable compilation Blair Witch music soundtrack on the other. So side one has The Secrets of Ezerev, audio commentary from director Joe Berlinger, select scene commentary with composer Carter Burwell, live performance by the band Godhead. It's the 16:9 widescreen version. It's got English, Dolby 1.1 surround, French, Dolby Digital 2.0 audio, Spanish Dolby Digital 2.0 audio, DVD-ROM experience features, web link address, sorry, mouth is dry. Web link access to exclusive never before seen footage and other extras, cast and crew information, production notes, digitally remastered scene access and interactive menus. And then on the CD, on the flip side, which has the soundtrack, it's got, looks like 3 bands. So we got Godhead, The Reckoning, Tony Lomelli, featuring David Grohl, or Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters, maybe. Goodbye Lamnet. It's got Steak Knife, Tommy Don't Die, and then the entire Book of Shadows original film score by Carter Burwell. And then it just lists all the songs. And then it has Godhead track from Webfest, The Reckoning. So there's a total of 17 tracks. Looks like 3 like rock songs, then the score, and then 1 live track. Let's see, it says that The Secret of Ezerev. Hidden within the film are mysterious and haunting images not easily seen by the naked eye. To reveal the secret of Ezerev, you must 1, select Secret of Ezerev from within the DVD menu for specific instructions. 2, when the special feature ends while your DVD player is still playing, hit the reverse button and watch as clues are revealed. 3, go back to the movie and find the hidden images, ... if you dare. And so Blair Witch was 1999. This is 2000. And it looks like, I think like Blair Witch was around 90 minutes. This is 90 minutes. Both are This is what the inside looks like. And then it's got, let's see here, it's got like a booklet inside it where, yeah, the director talks about the movie. And then it's got the, other films from Artisan on the back. So both of these are really good DVDs to pick up if you're a fan of the series. There are, so what's interesting about Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 is, I'm going to look on my phone for this too, this is actually, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, this is actually a dramatization. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I know what I want to say, it's just not coming out right. Dramatization of the events that happened in real life for Blair Witch. So this is a movie about what happened. So that's why it's shot the way it is. That's why it's not found footage. There is a, it's a mock documentary, but it came out on Sci-Fi Channel when a lot of people didn't have Sci-Fi Channel, and it's called Shadow of the Blair Witch. And you kind of need to see that first. So I want to take a quick look at here. So the mockumentaries, so it starts off with Curse of the Blair Witch, which was 1999. And this was on, came out in 1999. It was on Sci-Fi Channel. It's 45 minutes. And what it is that it's a lot of the footage from them, a lot of footage from the Blair Witch Project that was never used. Because originally it wasn't just going to be the found footage stuff. It was going to be a full documentary. And some of it would be found footage. Once they discovered that they wanted to do like just a found footage film, a lot of this stuff was eliminated. So Sci-Fi Channel used that footage and new footage that they shot for this documentary called Curse of the Blair Witch. This is not on YouTube. You can find it. It is available out there. Maybe check like Vimeo or something, but it is out there to see if you haven't seen it yet, or pick it up. I think it's only available. Well, no, I said, hey, I said it's on this, didn't I? Yeah, Curse of Blair Witch. So it's on the DVD for the Blair Witch Project. So you can watch it on there, or you can just find it online, but you got to search for it a little bit. Then after that, also in 1999, another documentary came out, which was actually made by the filmmakers, called Sticks and Stones, an exploration of the Blair Witch legend. And so this is another one of those ones where it's footage that they didn't use. They used parts of Curse of the Blair Witch, and they made their own documentary. And I think it's roughly about, I want to say maybe like 45 minutes to an hour, somewhere in there. And oh wait, Sticks and Stones runs 30 minutes and overlaps with the mockumentary Curse of the Blair Witch. So they go together. So it's best to watch them both. Sticks and Stones, I believe, is on YouTube. I watched it a long time ago, but this is where I rewatched it, was on YouTube. Then in 2000, they came out with the massacre of the Burkesville 7, the Blair Witch Legacy. So that's 2000. And this was on Showtime. It's 40 minutes. And I think it was just originally called the Burkesville 7. Like, it didn't have that full title. And this is also on YouTube. And it talks a lot about Blair Witch and all the stuff around it. Now, the one that I highly recommend, and this is for all the haters out there of Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, is to watch, and it is on YouTube, Shadow of the Blair Witch 2000. This was made on Sci-Fi Channel. And like I mentioned, I don't think a lot of people had Sci-Fi Channel in 2000. I think it was like you had to pay for it. You know, it was just one of those things at the time. It wasn't like today's streaming, but you had to actually pay, like you would have to pay for Showtime or HBO or ESPN or one of those. And this was one of those things where people were like, I'm not going to pay for Sci-Fi Channel. So a lot of people never saw this. I forget how I saw it. I think maybe like a friend let me watch it. And it is, so what this is that it's, so I'm actually, it's not that long. So I think I'm going to read it the best I can. Let's see. So directed by Ben Rock and airing on the Sci-Fi Channel in conjunction with the release of Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, the mockumentary Shadow of the Blair Witch takes an objective look at the events of Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. Running 45 minutes, it examines the troubled life of the real Jeff Patterson and his obsession with the Blair Witch Project. Within the documentary, the events of Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 are presented as a film adaptation based on the Black Hills murders that took place shortly after the events of the Blair Witch Project. This documentary presents Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 as a film within a film. Shadow of Blair Witch follows the real James Patterson's defense team as the case prepares for trial and as the public reacts to plans to fictionalize the case of events for the big screen. Protest of the film Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 are discussed, coming from both families of those involved with the case from the Wiccan community as a whole. So the thing is, so what you're watching here, this is a, like I said, it's a dramatization of, now this is, I'm obviously no, none of this stuff is real, but I'm in the case of the movies, I'm saying it's real, of this guy in real life who was obsessed with the Blair Witch, got people to take a tour to the Blair Witch locations from the first film, which happened, and then murdered them all. And he's on trial. So this film is actors. I mean, I'm hoping I'm making myself clear. So that's why it's not found footage. That's why it's like a movie. And Shadow of the Blair Witch is a documentary, but it's a mockumentary on those events that happened, so people could watch that and then go see this. So I hope I'm being clear on what I'm saying here. So I think a lot of hatred of this movie is unfair. You need to see Shadow of the Blair Witch, and I said it's on YouTube. So you really need to see that and then watch this again, and you might have a different opinion, because it's good to watch this. Well, actually, I'd probably say it's good to watch like Curse of the Blair Witch, and then maybe watch this, then watch Shadow of the Blair Witch, and then watch this. And that way you get the full thing. I actually recommend all the mockumentaries that are made. So one thing that I did not like about this Blair Witch, put it back in its little thing here, is that when I listened to the audio commentary, is the director and the writer said that they did not like Blair Witch 2, and they completely just disregarded it, which I don't think should have been done. I know it's supposed to be James Donahue, Heather Donahue's little brother, and his friends that go out looking for, his sister Heather. Somebody sends him that footage. He looks at it, and then he decides he wants to go out and try to find her. Which you would think after the amount of time, which I think is something like they say, like 14 years. She would most likely be dead if she's still out in the woods. Unless she's kind of living that mountain woman life, hunting deer and all that. But I think that they should have included at least a mention of Blair Witch 2, maybe like those murders that took place. In this, I think that when you do a sequel, you need to talk about what came before it. You just don't ignore it. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Fans, of course, will in some way, bring everything together. I think Nightmare on Elm Street is a great example of that. They skipped over part 2 when they made 3, but then the fans said, oh no, well, this is how part 2 can work. So you could still watch, Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare 2, and then Nightmare 3. And with fan logic, they work. And I wish that they would have included just a line, just one reference. Like maybe at the beginning of the film when they're looking at the footage that James thinks is maybe Heather, that one of the other characters could have said, hey, we're not going to end up like the people from, Blair Witch 2 or something like that, just something, just mentioning the murder case or something like that, hey, didn't some guy take a tour group out there and murder them all, something like that. I think would have worked much better. The audio commentary on this is great. And I have not watched the documentary yet. It is 2 hours. I have to find the time to do it. But I did kind of snip it because it's in little chapters. So you can watch the whole thing as 2 hours, or you can watch each part separately. And there's 6 parts. So I kind of clicked on a couple of them to see what they were like, and it looks really good. And then, of course, exploring or House of Horrors, exploring the set, that I did watch. And I said it was 15 minutes, and it's worth it. It's pretty cool to see, because this is not the Blair Witch Project. This was not made, with we're just going to give some people notes and cameras and go out, and then every couple days we'll meet up to give them notes, and shot independently. This is a movie. This is a Hollywood produced film that's from Lionsgate. So this has sets, rain machines. This is a very big, it's a $5 million budget, which is small in comparison, of course, to big movies, Mission Impossible or Star Wars or something. But it's still a big budget when you compare it to, let's say, the original film. And they do mention, the director and the writer do mention that they tried to be as accurate as possible with matching the original film. So the house they go into, so the hallways, the basement, which is like at the end of the first film, the attic, which now we go into, all of that, they looked at photos from the movie, they looked at fan photos, they looked at all these different things, because that house was for a while a real house. In the Blair Witch Project, it's not a set, it's an actual house that the filmmakers found. So a lot of fans used to go out and try, and find that house, and when they would, they'd take pictures with it. So the guys who made this, like the set designers and stuff, used those photos to match the films. Kind of like what they did with the prequel remake of The Thing, how they went and they looked at stuff from John Carpenter's The Thing to match it as close as possible with like the French camp. So when you do watch them back to back, it should match. And they did a great job on this with that. What's funny about this is in the audio commentary, the writer and the director talk about how poorly the film did in the box office and how disappointed like the studio was and they were. And in some ways, by the end of the documentary, they blame the fans for not going to see this. Now, they're very honest, it seems like, in the film. And when you, I'm going to just kind of zip through here to Blair Witch. So its budget, like I said, is $5 million. Its box office was $45.2 million on a $5 million budget. That means that it made $40.2 million over its budget. But I guess they were expecting, because this was Blair Witch, it's the third one, that they wanted 60 million or 80 million. And it didn't happen. So the filmmakers, the studio were very disappointed in its return. But my God, it made 40 million over its budget. But it got a lot of crap from critics and from fans and all that. Now I have on here Rotten Tomatoes, not good. So it's 38% on the tomato meter and it's 31% audience score. So the tomato meter is 224 reviews, while the audience score is 10,000 plus ratings. So that's not good. And which is why the filmmakers point out that there will never be, like a Blair Witch 4. I mean, who knows, at the time that they were recording this, it sounds like it was already out of the box office. It was, I guess they were creating, it was already gone and they were creating the DVD for the audio commentary and everything. They do mention even that Your Next didn't make a lot of money, but based on Your Next, that's how they got to do Blair Witch. And then, of course, they also did, I want to go back here to Adam Weingard and looking at, so I'd mentioned what his films were. He did a lot of short films. He also did one called, in 2007, there's Homesick and Pop Skull. Both of those look like they were for anthologies. Autoerotic, which he did. He did another film called What Fun We Were Having, 4 stories about date rape. I'm going to assume it's a serious thing. The Guest, great movie. Blair Witch, then Death Note, and then he got Godzilla vs. Kong. So it's not like Blair Witch hurt his career any. He was a cinematographer and editor on a few films. He's acted in some stuff. He's done television, and he's also done other other anthologies. He was involved in 60 Seconds of Solitude in Year Zero. That's a film called Ultra Modern. In 2012, he did a segment for VHS called Tape 56. He also did a segment for the ABCs of Death called Q is for Quack. And then he came back and did another segment for VHS 2 called Phase 1, the clinical trials. And then he is special thanks on Cheap Thrills and XX, which is also an anthology, but it's all female directors. So he's mostly done short films. He's mostly done found footage films. And, but man, he rose up that ladder. So apparently he's, maybe very easy to work with, gets the films done on time or whatever. I mean, Death Note, I know a lot of people who don't like Death Note. I haven't watched it because I've just heard a lot of bad things, but I mean, I don't know. Your Next is really good. The Guest is really good. And then Blair Witch, Death Note, and then he got Godzilla vs. King Kong. So, and he's also he's a composer. So he did the music for Blair Witch and Your Next, which, according to the audio commentary, he had to fight for to do. And there's the last track that's in the credits for the Blair Witch Project. That's what he basically kind of was working with, is that he wanted that sound, that feel. He still wanted that Blair Witch kind of feeling as far as the music goes. And I love the soundtrack. I listened to it actually in my car a lot recently, since coming up with the idea to do these 3 videos. And I really love it. It's a very creepy soundtrack. I think that he's a good music composer. And so I would like to actually see him do more. And I'll have to see maybe if The Guest is available. But I don't know. I haven't seen it out there, but I'll have to take a look. Excuse me. Dark Park Films coffee mug. It's going to be available for sale soon. So the film is, like I said, I think it's supposed to be 14 years after the first film. Heather's brother James gets this, or finds this video that might be his sister in it. And there's going to be, of course, spoilers through this, just to let people know. And so he gets his friends together to go and look for her. And I kind of questioned at first when I saw this. I said, well, why 14 years? Why hasn't he looked before that? I do think he mentions that he has been looking internet-wise to see if there's anything, but nothing's popped up until this video shows up. And so that's why he goes out. And I guess that's okay. I mean, I guess that's fine. I mean, he looks like he's in his early 20s, like all the friends are early 20s. So maybe now is just the time, maybe the parents wouldn't let him go look, until he was, 18, that he could make his own mind up. And then 2 or 3 years later, he finds this, he gets that footage and now he wants to go out. Lisa, who's like the second lead in the film, she's more of kind of what looks like to be like a video nut, like video cameras and things like that. So she has like regular, kind of like I think she uses a Nikon camera, like a still camera, but also does video. She has earbuds that are like earbud cameras. She has drones, and I love the idea of the drone. I also like the idea of the earbud cameras, because then they never really have to decide if they keep the camera on or keep the camera off. It's just constantly running. I guess there's a battery issue, maybe. They do bring up, I think, once in the film about recharging things. So maybe it's like a solar recharger. But they do have a bunch of different types of equipment to film with. And I guess these days you don't really have to worry about, for this type of thing, sound. So you don't have to go out there like holding a boom or anything, or have like a big pack on the side of you for recording. Like the first film, like the Blair Witch Project, they did use a like a video camera, and they used I think it was a 16 millimeter film camera. And I think the 16 millimeter was, I think it was silent. And then the video camera, like the small, she had like a small little digital camera. That's what recorded the sound. So they kind of did the same thing. They just updated the equipment. There's some stuff in there that I really like. There's a kind of a time loop that's happening. I don't think that's ever mentioned in the first movie, but that might explain why they couldn't find Josh and they couldn't find other people, is because they're in this kind of this time loop. And I really like that they brought that in, that kind of within this loop, they're stuck in the dark and in the rain. And I would like to see that, explored further if they were to do another film. Because it would explain a lot of things. The friends meet up with the people who found that footage, and they're rednecky. I don't know. I would never be friends with these two people, Lane and Talia. I would never be friends. They James and Lisa, both their friends are African American, and they go into this apartment, and there's a huge Confederate flag up on the wall, and Peter looks at it, who's one of the black friends, is that he kind of looks at it and like, oh boy, here we go. And that's true. They don't, the two rednecky type people don't say anything or do anything racist or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I'm okay. If I went into somebody's house that had a Confederate flag, I would probably just leave. But they want to go with them to go find the house, Parr's house, Rustin Parr's house. And also they have the channel or a website that's like a fan Blair Witch website. And so they're getting footage for that. It's looking off some of my notes here. So they all go out together, and I like what they did, what the writer and director did with them. I think it's fine. I mean, it's hard to kind of take a lot of this stuff seriously. I think if I went with a small group of people into a cemetery and they were talking about how it's haunted and ghosts come out at night, I'd probably laugh at them too. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I think it's silly, until it actually happens. So it's the everything I think is really well shot. The sound is really good. The music is really good. The direction is good. The acting from everybody is really good. The locations they chose are primarily in Canada, and they did do some reshoots or additional shooting in Los Angeles. Basically stuff, that's like inside tents or sets or things like that were Los Angeles. Also, the cameras that we see the cast using are not the cameras that are actually filming. That could be, I think they said one of the actors, James, he shot some footage. The director shot some footage, and then like assistant camera people would shoot footage. One of the cameras I remember him mentioning is a Red, but they used other cameras to shoot the footage that we think the characters are shooting. So basically from like the earpiece, or if they're holding a camera, like Lisa is holding a camera, or from her. The drone footage looks like it's drone footage, but they're not handling it. It's actually drone people, like somebody who's experienced, and qualified to fly a drone. And I just think that overall it's a solid film. I mean, the amount of detail that they put into it, I respect a lot. And I don't mind these types of films. I don't mind these kind of reboot sequels, as long as they acknowledge, excuse me, the other films. And I think that's perfectly fine. One thing is there is a tunnel scene that's really good. That in the audio commentary, they talk about how when Lisa goes into this tunnel, she gets thrown in there by Lane because he's doing what he thinks is like the Blair Witch. You have to do what the Blair Witch tells you to do. So he throws her down this, I don't know, it's not really a pit, but it's it's a hole and there's wood all around it and there's a top, and he locks it. And the way for her to get out is that she has to go through this tunnel. And it's a 50-foot tunnel, and it's a real 50-foot tunnel. So so they built it on set, and they had people at either end. And she, the actress who plays Lisa, they said that she was like thin, she's very petite and all that. And so they made the tunnel to her size, but they made it just a little smaller. So she would have to kind of squeeze through, and she would have to go from, the first foot all the way to the end at 50 feet. And that they had people telling her, you're okay, you're fine. And the actress who plays Lisa said that she was fine during it. So when you watch the movie, that's not broken up. So it isn't like a 20-foot piece and a 5-foot piece and a 10-foot piece, that type of thing. It's one long 50-foot tunnel that she had to go through. And unless they wanted to kind of break it open, if she like started freaking out, because, if she's claustrophobic or something, they would have to rip it open. It's just one solid tunnel. So I thought that was really interesting. Also, they mentioned that there's a huge mistake that everybody thinks what we see at the end is the Blair Witch. That when they see this kind of creature, and it's got like the long arms and it's all weird looking, and it comes at them, at least once and then runs away once, is everybody goes, well, why did they do a CGI Blair Witch? Why do we get to see the Blair Witch? We shouldn't see this. And as they pointed out, it's not the Blair Witch. It's just a creature. It's just something that's within the house that's attacking them, that's also kind of afraid of them because it comes at them. And then at another point, it runs away. And so they're saying, no, this is not the Blair Witch. It's actually, and it's not CGI. They mentioned that there's no visual effects in this film, except for maybe like tinting or something like that, that all the effects are practical, including the creature that we see, I think, twice. And so that I thought was interesting. So I have a little more respect for them because of that, not showing the Blair Witch. I'm glad, but a lot of people think it's the Blair Witch, and they kind of hate on the movie for that. So no, it's just a creature, just like a guy in a costume or something that's back there. I've really just don't get why people hate this movie so much. I think that people just like to bash on the Blair Witch. When you look at the amount of, so Lionsgate owns the series, but there's there's 2 books about the Blair Witch, and then there's novels. So 1, 2, 3, 4 novels. There's 1, 2, 3 comic books. There's 3 films. And then there's the documentaries, Curse, Sticks and Stones, Berkowitz 7, or Burksville 7, and then Shadow of the Blair Witch. There's, a lot of video games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 games, including one that came out in 2020. And they only mentioned 2 soundtracks, so this needs to be updated. So there's like Josh's Blair Witch mix CD, and then Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 soundtrack. They really do need to add this soundtrack too. So there should be 3 soundtracks. But if you're looking at, as far as, let's see here, if I can quickly find it. So Blair Witch 2, its budget was 15 million, about 10 million over this new one here. And it made 47.7 million. That's, I don't know, that's still not bad. They just expect so so much more, 60 million, 80 million, 90 million, it's got to be, $1 billion to mean anything. And then Blair, then the original Blair Witch, they say was somewhere between 200,000 and 500,000, but it made, as we all know, it was a phenomenon. 2,480,000. I'm sorry, 24. I want to say 24. Sorry about that. Turn that off. Let's see. So it made $2,480.6 million. There we go. Now I got my numbers right. That's pretty impressive. And I want to find. It may take me too long, and I don't want you guys to wait. I was hoping to find the actual numbers here. I found them earlier, but now I can't find them. But you get the point. Is that the films made more money than what their budgets were. Obviously, the first one was massive, and then the second two still made money over their budgets. But like I've mentioned, they just expect, all this stuff. They want billions and billions and billions of dollars, or otherwise the film, is tanked, and that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, there's a great scene where like their tents fly away. I really enjoyed that, where they're just kind of pulled up at night. I thought that looked great. And then they like come down almost like they're being, attacked by the cast is being attacked by tents. There's a scene where Ashley, who's the other Black friend, and she's the girlfriend of Peter. She climbs up a tree to get a drone and falls, and that looks really painful when she falls. There's also, thanks to all these, these new cameras that they're using, you could get just so much more angles. And so it just really helps with them kind of creating some of these cameras that they use. And of course, one of the other things that I wonder is the footage that Lane and Talia that they send to James, is that they say that, I guess it's fake, but when we get to the house, we do see flashes, or at least in a mirror, of what James thinks is Heather. And it's like, okay, so how did they get this footage? Or is this just footage that's flashing on, like it's a glitch in the tape? And so we're seeing that image, because what's in the mirror doesn't really look like Heather at all, at least in my opinion. And so like, how did they create this? We do find out that they created the stick figures and put them around, at least at the first campsite. And then later on, when there's like the giant ones that are out there, Talia is saying, no, that wasn't them. That had nothing to do with them. This must be the Blair Witch type of thing. So I kind of question this footage that was found, and of how this was created. So that to me is something that, because James says that's Heather. Look, that's Heather right there. It doesn't look like Heather. Maybe it isn't. It could be somebody completely different. I don't think the guy, I don't think Lane is saying it's Heather. I think he's, when he sends these tapes, which we find out are fake, that he goes, look, this is what I found. Maybe this is your sister. So I question that. And then of course, the filmmakers do say that the creature in there is not the Blair Witch, but I think at this point, that's probably what most people think the Blair Witch looks like. So it probably now is the Blair Witch. when um, one of the best things in it is when Ashley, I think, breaks one of those bigger stick figures. And of course, that Talia breaks in half. She sees her hair on it, and Ashley thinks it's fake. And so she breaks it in half because she's tired of everything. It's that's a great scene. I love that. Of course, Ashley getting, it's like a kind of like a worm or like a piece of ivy or something that goes into her leg. The filmmakers on the audio commentary say that's not CGI or anything. It's just the way that she's moving it makes it look like it's moving. So it's kind of a benefit, I guess, that it kind of turned out that way. There's they also mentioned near the end during the credits that they did their own credits, and then Lionsgate did their credits. So instead of the credits being excuse me, like 3 minutes, they end up being over 6 minutes. And there are things like the Blair, like they'll list in the credits, like Blair Witch arm, or like Blair Witch arm double. And they're saying that's incorrect, that these arms or whatever you see, it's not the Blair Witch, it's just not. But that's what Lionsgate put in there. And so, of course, people are going to believe that. It's a film that I think is very underrated. I think that people need to give it a second chance. And especially we're in October, check it out again. And if you buy the Blu-ray, then, you can check out all those special features that are worth it. I mean, especially that 2-hour documentary, it looks like it goes pretty in depth into the making of the film. And just check it out. Just give it a second chance. Don't also, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, give that a second chance. Watch that documentary, online, or the mockumentary online, that Shadow of the Blair Witch. And I think that you'll appreciate Blair Witch 2 more. Or maybe just even have a change of heart from hating it to actually thinking it's okay, but it's, except for the first film, which gets praises and then got bashed on a lot, for, it's not as good as everybody says, it's just a found footage movie. I mean, it still changed film history. And then the other two films, of course, could never live up to the hype of the first film. So, so I think that's pretty much, about it. Let me just look through here. Film still takes place in Black Hills Forest. Drones, earpieces with cameras, 2 couples. James is the brother of Heather. Let's see. House from Blair Witch. It's not the original house was torn down. So that is no longer there, which is why they had to build it from scratch. They go to a loud dance place, where they party and they kind of play around with the equipment and everything. They test the equipment. What I like with the equipment when they test it outside, when they use the drone, is that when it goes up, you can actually see the shadow of the drone on the side of the building. And I really like that. I thought that was pretty good. I did mention that they meet the kind of redneck people with the Confederate flag. Local couple, they fake the Blair Witch stick figures at the camp. The black girlfriend, she gets her the Ashley, that she gets a cut on her foot that gets pretty bad. She steps on a rock in a river, and her foot just goes from bad to really bad. There's the time loop, of course, where Lane, who says, he comes back and he's like all basically him and Talia are all kind of messed up. And, James is like, well, we just saw you like only, a couple hours ago. And Lane's like, no, this is like 5 days or more that we've been out here kind of searching for you, trying to get out of this. And it always stays night. It never goes to day. Like I said, I love that. I love time loop stuff. I love time travel. So I love that. And then and he still only has like, Lane only has like a 5 o'clock shadow. But then when we see Lane later on in the house and he's attacking Lisa, he's got like a beard and his hair is a little bit longer. So he's been out there for more than 5 days at that point. I mean, he's enough to, he's been out there long enough to grow a beard. I mean, he's got a beard like mine. So, he's been out there probably for like a week, maybe more, probably like, I don't know, 2 weeks, maybe. Let's see. So yeah, and then we get Talia, we get her snapped in half. When Ashley breaks the stick figure, the tents fly away, kind of like attack them, which I thought was pretty cool. Ashley climbs the tree to get the drone and falls, which was painful. They said on audio commentary that the actual tree is when you see the POV is done by a stunt person. But then when you see the actress who plays Ashley in it, it's only like a couple feet off the ground. That's an old trick that we all know of. New ways of getting camera angles because of all the new high-tech stuff. They find the house that Heather, disappeared in. James keeps chasing somebody who might be Heather, but he doesn't know. He keeps calling her name, and that person is just going through a door, or just going around a corner, so we never really see it. There are children's like bloody handprints all over the walls, like from the first film. We got Lisa in the underground tunnels. I listed that, the Blu-ray has good sound and picture. The best part about the Blu-ray and the sound, especially if you have surround, is the weather, like the storm that's out there with like the creaking trees and sometimes like a tree breaks, like snaps over. All that stuff sounds great on surround. I question, of course, I did write, did we see the Blair Witch or not? And the audio commentary says it's not, it's just a creature. But I do think at this point, we're pretty much calling it the Blair Witch. Lisa walking backwards with the camera to not see the Blair Witch. So they're saying that if you see the Blair Witch, that's it, you're done for. So she takes the camera and aims it like this, so she could see, like the lens is aiming that way. And so she's walking backwards, looking at the little viewfinder. And then James says something. And of course that distracts her. Excuse me. And she looks behind her, and that's the ending of the film. That's where the Blair Witch or whatever it is gets her. But it's an interesting way of avoiding it. Walk backwards. I mean, now, if you see the Blair Witch on the little monitor screen, does that count? Or do you actually have to see, like, be eye to eye with the Blair Witch? Maybe that's stuff that could be answered in part 4 if they ever did one. It says, each actor had a stunt double, including the Blair Witch, which also had an arm double. This is in the credits, but the filmmakers are saying that's not the Blair Witch. It's not an arm double for the Blair Witch. And then I have listed here that the director, he did the music or score for the film. So that pretty much is all my notes. But yeah, please check this film out again. Please check it out again and give it a second chance. Please. I think it's a really good movie. Adam Weingart is a good director. He's just doing big stuff now. So yeah, I mean, especially with these special features on the back, I mean, definitely check this out. So that pretty much ends it for the Blair Witch video. Next up is going to be The Grudge. And then from that will be Rings. And I have got my source material right up here. This is all Grudge and Ring. So I'm be watching those. So that's about it. So thank you for joining me on this deconstruction of Blair Witch 2016. And I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got something from it. Like I said, there's 2 more coming. And I guess that's it. So I really appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. I'm trying to hit, it'd be great by the end of the year. We're already like midway through October. So it'd be great if I could hit at least 100 subscribers. I think right now I have 77. I'd like to hit 100 by the end of the year. So, that's a little over 2 months to try to get there. So, once again, please share, like, comment, all that stuff. It helped me out greatly. And I guess that's it. So I will talk with you later. Thanks. Bye. Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out after the video. And thank you for watching the very first Dark Park Films sponsored video. And who is that sponsor? Well, I've now learned if I do this with my hands, they go to the right area. There we go. That would be Wildlife Command Center Coffee, and you can purchase it right there. You can go to their website, which is BUYWCC.com, and pick up their coffee. They have 2 blends, which I'm going to show you now. The first coffee is this one right here. This is a breakfast blend. It's 10 ounces, and it is a medium ground. And it does say, and it's breakfast, like I said, and this is what it says right here. It says, early bird can catch the worm. So there you go, a breakfast blend coffee that helps you catch the worm in the morning. And I really like this one. I'm more of a breakfast kind of blend coffee guy in the morning. So this one I really like. It has that little bit of oomph to it to kind of get you moving, get you up and out. And so I really enjoy this one, but that doesn't mean that I don't like the other one, which is this one right here. This is a dark roast. It is also 10 ounces. And both of these are $7.99 at their website. Pretty good price for 10 ounces worth of ground coffee. This one is, it's a little darker. So it's, I think it's better for drinking at night. Maybe if you're, writing a screenplay or if you're filming, this has got that oomph, that double punch to get you going. So this is one that I also recommend. I like both of these quite a bit, but I kind of do, the breakfast in the morning and then the dark more at night. So I recommend both of these quite a bit. And how did I find out about these two, these 2 coffees here? And how did I find out about Wildlife Command Center? Well, when I was working on Night of the Zomghouls, there was a box of coffee that was just sitting there filled with coffee. And we didn't know what to do with it. Like, whose is this? Who brought it? Why is it here? And so we just kept going to the store and buying coffee. And then one day I said, why don't we just get the coffee out of the box and use that instead of, wasting money on going to Smith's or whatever and picking up coffee. So we did. We did not realize that it was the Wildlife Command Center coffee and that it, was sponsoring the movie. And it was great coffee. Everybody loved it. And we just went right through it. By the last day of filming, this coffee was gone. And I went and found out, about Wildlife Command Center, asked if they would like to be a sponsor for Dark Park Films, for their coffee. As many of you know, I love coffee. I love coffee mugs. And so this was a perfect match. And Wildlife Command Center is great with animals. So they provide a great service for rescuing animals. So it's kind of that double whammy for me, where coffee, helping animals, you can't go wrong. And they were even cool enough to send me, get in there, a coffee mug, because they knew that I liked coffee mugs. And right now, I don't get that. A little bit. I want to go on the keyboard, but that's their dark blend, because I'm recording this at night. So I am actually drinking that while recording. Also, one thing that you can get at their website, which is cool, is you can get this. There you go. This pocket knife, which is $9.49. And this is pretty cool because it has their name on it. Wildlife Command Center, we can catch it. And this is what it looks like. Put that down there. There we go. Fully out. So you're getting like the bottle opener, you got the corkscrew, you got a screwdriver, you got a blade, and then you got this little hook thing that you could pop it into something that doesn't have a tab, and then the liquid or whatever in there will come out. So this is pretty cool. And I'm just going to keep mine in my car because you never know. You might need a pocket knife. So please support them. I'm going to have links down below, where you can, check out just the Wildlife Command Center. I'll also have a link for Wildlife Command Center coffee. And it will basically be for both these guys right here. And please support them. I support them. I think what they do is pretty awesome. And, maybe this coffee will be on your set or in your kitchen. It will definitely be, on my set, in my kitchen. I know that. So please, once again, I'm going to show you these. Please go to their website and pick up their coffee and make it part of your day or night, depending on which one you like. So that'll be about it. I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. And yeah, so thank you. And once again, please support my channel. Please support the Wildlife Command Center, and I will catch you later. Bye.